The Bible story begins with God creating the world on which we live, an ordering of an initial disordered world, raging oceans being contained as land appeared, lights in the sky ordering the day and night, the sun to brighten the day, the moon to lighten the night, although you can often spot it during the daytime too. Familiar companions lighting humanity's journey through time and across the earth, drawing us to wonder and wondering. Looking up, the moon seems close. Perhaps you've stretched out your hand and held it between your fingers. From ancient times, we'd wondered what it would be like to travel there. What would we find? Was there life? With our imagination, we even made it like the earth, naming the dark areas on its face seas, seeing them as vast expanses of water, perhaps teeming with life. Nearly 2,000 years ago, the Greek author Lucian wrote a tale of travelling to the moon in a sailboat, imagining it inhabited by a community of life similar yet wondrously different to that of the earth. When we finally arrived around 50 years ago, our imagination was disappointed. We found the seas to be vast plains of volcanic rock, an airless, dry and barren world. Magnificent desolation, as the astronaut Buzz Aldrin described it. One of only a few handful of humans to walk across its surface, to see it close with their own eyes. Although lifeless, the moon has through the ages caused us to wonder about life. An ancient song in the Bible asks of God, "When I consider the moon which you set in place, what are humans that you're mindful of them?" In Lucian's story, his lunar traveller looked back contemplating life on Earth. And we too, from the moon, glimpsed more of the magnificence of life. For when those first astronauts reached the moon, they looked back towards our home, the Earth, a world they could hold in their fingers, hanging ablaze in the blackness of space above the sterile barrenness of the moon. A planet full of vibrant colour, blue, brown, green and white, a world teeming with life. My name's Dave Gregory. I'm a church minister with a background and passion for God's gift of science. And in this series, we want to reawaken you to the wondrous world that is around us, to take a fresh look at our rich, full and yet fragile world, a world teeming with life, from the heat of the tropical rainforests to the icy wastes of the poles, in the dryness of deserts to the depths of the oceans and up into the tenuous clouds, a wondrous, playful menagerie that's been opened up to us through those amazing nature documentaries on our televisions or on our mobile phones. A vast community of life which shapes us in ways that science is only just revealing, and in which we play our part, yet not always in ways that leads to life in all its fullness. A world that gives us life and which our lives is woven perhaps more than we know, even entwined with the playfulness and the being of God. So come and join the journey, looking at our world and perhaps beyond it. Earth's the only place in the solar system and the cosmos, for all that we know, where life is found. And like those ancient writers, we still wonder, is there life elsewhere? Our robots trundle across the surface of Mars, beaming back images of ancient riverbeds, now dry and cold. Did they once harbour life in the past? The JUICE spacecraft is currently on a long, slow path to Jupiter. Arriving in 2031, it'll explore its icy moons, Europa, Ganymede, Callisto, discovered 400 years ago as Galileo pointed the newly invented telescope to the heavens. And under thick icy crusts are thought to be oceans of water, perhaps 10 times deeper than Earth's own, warmed by the push and the pull of the immense gravity of the solar system's largest planet. Perhaps here are possible havens for life like those at the bottom of Earth's early oceans. And beyond our solar system, telescopes continue to discover worlds around distant stars. Most are huge, far larger than Jupiter. Many are baking hot, orbiting close to their stars. Others lie in the Goldilocks zone, not too hot, not too cold, but just the right distance from their star for liquid water to exist on their surface. Something that all life we know of needs. This looking out adds to our wonder of life that we see all around us. The combination of factors that allows the Earth to sustain life are wondrous in themselves. The stability of the planetary orbits in the solar system over its 4.5 billion year history, compared to that what we see in other planetary systems. Their wandering Jupiter-sized planets play cosmic pool, knocking smaller planets like the Earth from their orbits. An orbit that places us within the Goldilocks zone of our Sun, together with a just right greenhouse atmosphere that causes it to be much warmer than it should be, means that we have a climate that allows liquid water to exist on the Earth's surface. The Earth's magnetic field flowing deep from its molten metallic core protects us from the scream of deadly radiation flowing from the sun, giving us the bonus of those wonderful auroral displays that grace the polar night skies. And a large moon, which while lifeless prevents the Earth from tumbling over like a fidget spinner, helping keep the climate stable, helping life to thrive. If one of these factors were different, would the history of life on Earth be a story with a different ending? Well, that's something science is still trying to tease out. It's one of the reasons we search for life elsewhere, to understand if the Earth is a special place, a special moment in the story of the cosmos, or just one part of a vastly larger story of life spread across the universe. Yet regardless of the answer, Earth is still special. For here, life developed. And from among that life emerged a rare being, unique among Earth's community of life. One able to look around and out and wonder, to exclaim, wow, growing louder as science gives us a new appreciation of the amazing wonder that surrounds us, inviting us beyond science's playful exploration of the world to encounter the one who playfully shapes it and gives it purpose. This is the Milton Keynes Rose. It's a calendar marking significant moments in a year of its life, important events in the 50 years of its existence. Of course, our Earth is a lot older. Science has revealed it to be 4.5 billion years old. Now that's a huge number beyond our ability to comprehend. So let's play a game. Let's make that time period more manageable. Let's squeeze it into a year, a span of time that's more familiar to us, the length of a single sports season. So imagine the Earth is 12 months old. That's about a month for every 400 million years. The earliest evidence for the emergence of life will be sometime in March, in ancient rock features called stromatolites. 3.5 billion years old, formed by mats of bacteria releasing sticky chemicals that trap sand layer by layer, generation by generation, building into solid rock. While rarer today, living examples can still be found in salty lagoons off the coasts of Western Australia. Yet how did life emerge in the spring of the world, beyond exotic chemical reactions to the seemingly impossible complexity of DNA, the chemical that is at the heart of life that allows it to sustain itself and multiply and flourish across billions of years? Well, we don't know for sure. Experiments hint at DNA's complex building blocks are emerging from a mix of simpler chemicals, something that science sees again and again. The world is chaotically playful in surprising ways, that out of a mess, what seems random disorder, complexity and order emerge. Resonating with the Bible story of creation, signs of the shaping of the world and life through divinely inspired playfulness of evolution's game. Some scientists suggest that the game of life emerged around hot volcanic pools on the surface of the earth, or deep in the oceans in the darkness around hot springs, black smokers, one of nature's chemical laboratories, spewing out boiling water heated in the depths of the earth, filled with sulfurous chemicals and nutrients. Even today, these hot springs are an oasis of life among the vast desert surface of the deep. Alien worlds like those conjured up by science fiction writers or astrobiologists who imagine life among the planets and the stars. Giant tube worms sway like tall grass, huge mussels as big enough to fill a dinner plate, and hairy, spiny, gangly yeti crabs, communities of shrimps, life that exists on the edge without light, with little oxygen, powered in the darkness by bacteria using chemicals released into the oceans. However it happened, life took hold, life that was simple. Single-celled animals and plants leading a solitary existence. Life that held on as the world changed around them, as they changed the world. Around May, life increasingly began to use the power of the sun to generate energy, photosynthesis, something that plants continue to do today, turning our planet green, transforming the air as carbon dioxide was turned into oxygen, causing a mass extinction of many earlier forms of life for which oxygen is poison. Life which still hangs on in the depths of the ocean. In turn, these new forms of life face challenges of their own making. We aren't the first to reshape the climate of the planet. Rising oxygen and plunging carbon dioxide levels led to global ice ages, freezing the ocean from pole to pole. Yet still life held on. After 9 months in September, more complex animal life appeared in the oceans. Animals like today's sponges, which perhaps still grace your bathroom. And then in November, 500 million years ago, life, first plant then animal, stretched out from the oceans onto the land along coasts swept by the rise and fall of the tides twice daily. Life has been a slow game, but don't let that slowness fool you. It's been a rough one. And as with many sports, there's been plenty of excitement along the way. 5 mass extinction events, once a week through December, have at times caused 95% of life on the Earth to be lost. Driven by huge volcanic eruptions, the slow movement of the continents around the globe, or catastrophic impacts by asteroids from space that led to the demise of the dinosaurs 50 million years ago. An event which gave the mammals and us their chance to play in the top league of the game of life. Despite such catastrophic setbacks, life has held on. It In its playfulness following each extinction event, scientists see in the fossil record huge explosions of creativity as new forms of life appear. Worlds full of weird and amazing forms, long lost from the game, while others still persist today. Equally wondrous life is found in playful variety, filling the world around us. From the blue whales that grace our ocean depths, jump playfully amongst the waves. The flash of iridescent blue of a kingfisher glimpsed through the corner of her eyes, it swoops low over a stream. The invisible complexity and forms of creatures which live in the depths of the soil under our feet, sustaining its life-giving properties. And ourselves, wondrous and playful too, wondering over the playfulness of the vast community of life of which we are a part and in which we play our part. For among the community of life, humans have come to dominate our planet. You might say we play the game of life at the top of the Champions League, yet there's always the remote possibility of a giant slaying event when a team from a lower league causes a top team trouble. We share the earth with a vast community of life, a community that is connected from the smallest to its largest creatures. The COVID emergency a few years back reminded us of how connected life on the earth is. Our seemingly advanced, technological, fast-paced lives brought to a standstill by virus. COVID led to an appreciation of how connected life is in other ways too. Our connection with our neighbours as we got to know each other better and supported one another. And perhaps on our short daily walks that were allowed during those months of lockdowns, we began to gain a deeper appreciation of the natural world around us, bringing us towards peace, deepening our well-being amongst the stress of isolation, increasing our sense of wonder as we became attentive to the playfulness of life seen in the birds and animals and plants around us. Wonder and playfulness that we perhaps miss in the seeming fullness of our lives. An interconnected game of life, one which, like sports, can be a rough one, full of ups, downs, twists and turns, at times joyous, at other times painful. A game which we play our part, but not always nicely. At the start of the Bible's creation story, God invites the first humans to name the animals, signifying our connectedness with the natural world, a connection that science continues to investigate today, exploration that seems never-ending. It's estimated that there are nearly 9 billion species of life on the earth, and so far science has only named over 1 billion of them. And some of them now may never be named. Over the past 50 years, the Worldwide Fund for Nature estimates that wildlife numbers across the globe have plummeted by 70%. Over the history of the Earth, it's estimated that one species goes extinct every million years. The current rate is now thought to be 100 times higher than this, so much so that some say we're living through the 6th mass extinction event, caused as humans try to play the game of life at the top of the Champions League. The earth is wondrous, an oasis of life amidst a vast universe, perhaps a rare thing. Life that is playful, a community of life of which we are a part, to which we're connected, fragile, yet enduring through moments of tragedy. Perhaps too often looking to keep our spot at the top of the Champions League. Celebrating our own success in the game, we miss the wonder and playfulness and communion of it all. If future generations have to endure another pandemic with their own lockdowns, or as they walk across the world whose community of life is depleted due to global warming, will they have a chance to discover peace, hope and life amongst the magnificence of it all? To be drawn towards the one who shapes the world and gives it life. Or will the words of the astronaut capture their and God's lament over a world that is becoming a magnificent desolation? Cycling along a stream that runs through the parkland and forest of Milton Keynes, I came to an abrupt halt. Something had caught my attention. A kingfisher sitting on a branch, hanging over the stream, still, attentive. Stillness and attentiveness that connected us. And as soon as the moment between us had happened, it was over. A flash of blue, glinting in the sunlight as it sped over the stream, quickly lost to my view among the branches of the trees. In the Bible's story of creation, God invites Adam to be attentive to the natural world, bringing the animals before him to see what he would name them. Attentiveness connecting humans with the Creator and a world that God sees as good. The kingfisher is well named, a name that captures its splendour and beauty, like the first followers of Jesus, a catcher of fish. Capturing to Jesus' invitation to be attentive to God's goodness seen through nature. For not even monarchs in all their splendour are clothed like one of these. Humans continue to be attentive to the world around them through God's gift of science, opening up new vistas of the splendour of the cosmos near and far, large and small, of the beauty and the complexity of life amongst which we live. Beyond Adam's knowing, even beyond our naming, attentiveness that helps us to appreciate what a wonderful garden the earth is, allowing life in its splendour and playfulness to flourish through the long history of the earth. The imaginative creativity of human science meeting that of the divine artist, giving glimpses of signs of God's grace through the wonder of it all, leading to humility, perhaps gratitude. Like our ancestors, we see the wondrous diversity and playfulness of life, perhaps in a wider, deeper way. God's gift of science inviting us to encounter His purpose and shaping of the world as we understand the role evolution has played in bringing the world to be as it is. Among the story of God's relationship with humanity told in the Bible, a troubled man, Job, is taken by God on a tour of the wonders of the natural world, just as we are through the stunning images of nature documentaries that stream onto our phones or into our homes. He too was captivated. Yet is our response the same as his? For at the end of it all, Job declares, "My ears have heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you." Our view is wider, deeper, higher, broader. Yet can the same be said of our attentiveness, our thankfulness? Seeing the playfulness of nature, are we attentive to the playful purposes of God? For the world in which we live and the life we share it with is shaped by God through the life of His Son, Jesus. For in Him all things were created through Him and for Him, and in Him all things hold together. The beauty and glory of nature, expressed in playfulness beyond our naming and imagining, hints at this divine shaping. But what are the brokenness and loss seen in the long tragedy of life, remembered as fossils reveal equally wondrous ages now long past? Pain that we still find and experience alongside beauty and wonder in our world. For while the kingfisher is well named for its splendour, what would the fish in the stream name it? Beyond beauty, perhaps God is glimpsed within the loss and hope of it all, in the catastrophe of mass extinctions, where life falls yet rises again in new and imaginative forms. A story of life held long in hope by the pattern of Easter, death and resurrection, revealing the love of God for the world in its chaotic dance between order and disorder. His deep sharing in its suffering, his continual creative spirit at work, bringing it towards life and hope. And into the dance of the world stepped the one who gives it life. Jesus, the divine, became flesh and made his dwelling among us, affirming the value of it all forms of life, each part uniquely expressing something of God's creative imagination, fitting within his purposes in ways that we perceive and do not. Affirming one creature from among the vast menagerie of life, one whose creativity reflects that of the Creator. Jesus sees our world and the cosmos more fully and deeply than our satellites and scientific instruments allow. And yet he comes and sees the wonder of life through our eyes so that we might see it through his. Jesus living as one of us, a sign of the connection between the divine and all that is living. The divine being attentive to that which is created in a new way, inviting us to attentiveness and to our part in the purposes of God. Yet too often we attend to our own needs and security before those of our neighbours, ahead of the community of life with whom we share the earth. In the Bible, humans were expelled from the Forest of Eden by their own folly. Now, by our continued folly, we expel others too. It's been said that long ago we named the birds of the air and the beasts of the field. But what name might the animals give to us in the world we are creating? God sees and declares that the earth is very good, a unique ecosystem worth protecting and preserving for the sake of the purposes of God, for future generations of creatures and people. The Bible story ends with a river of the water of life, clear as crystal, flowing down the middle of the street of the city. As future generations pause by the stream winding through my city, will they have a chance to be attentive to the kingfisher, a sign of the wonder and creative playfulness of God which our and all life on earth is woven. Held in hope by God through falling and rising, facing death, and yet pulled towards the fullness of life through the power of the Spirit. Recognized from ancient times in the words of an ancient song of praise. When you send your Spirit, they are created, and you renew the face of the earth. The same Spirit at work in our lives, inviting us to share with God in bringing hope to people and the community of life with whom we share the earth. Turning from lives that increase the disorder of the world to live in ways that collaborate with the Creator to bring peace to the earth now and for the future.